Welcome guys to John's Football Channel. This is our post review to Chelsea 1, Spurs 2. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win at the end. Starting up with the lineups, obviously we just started with Spurs. They were in Kingsley in goal, Robertson on the left, Davis and Faneka as the centre backs, and then they went with Gray as the right back. In the midfield, they went with Gallagher, Tonali, and Bogavel as the midfield. In the attacking positions, they went with Tel, Solanke, and Solomon. And then for Chelsea, they went with Simon Lowe as the goalkeeper, Palmeiras as the right back, Fofana and Liverpool as the centre backs, and then Laura Hato as the left back. And then in our midfield, we went with Lavia and Diosigo. Ahead of them, we went with Esteval, Palmer, and Gittins. And then we went João Pedro up front. It was very, very good to see a glimpse of Lavia in the first half. It's always nice to see him that he's able to do appearance. I mean, it's very, very rare that we get to see him. It's just unfortunate, and I just hope somehow, somewhere he's able to get into a good stride of games and able to get these injuries behind him. But I think it's going to be take some time in order for us to actually see that from the player. And then if we have to look at the game, how the game actually went, we obviously know that at times it was end to end. We'll end up seeing we have chances. Tottenham Hotspurs have chances. There was a chance for the first goal where they end up going on our flank. They end up playing it into the midfield. Tonali ends up taking a shot, and I don't know who. I don't know if it was Cowell or Fofana who ends up getting the block with a big deflection, and actually doesn't allow someone low to actually get there, and ends up making it 1-0 for Spurs. Not too long after that, we had Gittins on the wing, ends up cutting in. Very, very good from Esteban to be in a zone where the defenders against him can think, okay, no, we have you, until the last second, and he blitz into the box and ends up getting into the final end of the cross of Gittins and ends up making it 1-1. So very, very good from Esteval, very, very good from Gittins, who were able to spot the pass and actually deliver and actually put it on the plate for Esteval. Look at the rest of the game. I mean, we had substitutions in the second half, a lot of substitutions from both teams. We know that obviously Kevin Danso came on into the field, and then 3 minutes later he ends up getting a foul or getting a red card against João Pedro. It was very, very poor from him. I mean, all he had to do was just play to there was a player right next to him, and all he had to do was play towards him. But for some reason, he allowed the ball to go in stride, and he thinking that he will be able to get there. And unfortunately, he ended up slipping. And he ended up being forced to take down João Pedro with him because he knew that there was no one next to him in order to cover his position. And I'm pretty sure he would have known that João Pedro would have had an easy chance at goal to make it 2-1. It is ironic, like we're thinking as soon as we got the red card, we think we were going to start getting some goals in this team. But clearly it was not the case. We didn't end up putting the ball at the back of net. Obviously, we ended up losing this game. I think it was very, very surprising that we'll end up losing, despite knowing that we have an extra man on the field. We know that obviously in the second half we'll end up bringing on younger players who are not necessarily first choice, the likes of Dutson, the likes of Delap, the likes of Champong, the likes of Ulrich Kellerman. So all these players, you could say it is a factor as to probably didn't help, and we didn't actually we didn't actually capitalize on the red card as we would have had we had kept the other players on the field. We did have some chances. It was just unfortunate with João Pedro that didn't actually end up getting in. João Pedro was yet again very clinical at goal, and actually looked like a player that was about to score. It was just unfortunate he never actually got at the end to actually punish Spurs for some of the errors that they were busy, for some of the errors in their defense. And then if we look at, I don't know, probably after this game we could say that probably we have some work to do in terms of our midfield, defensively, and our defense. Clearly we know that we are lacking in those positions. Clearly, because that was, I would say, it was the only area in our game and only area in our team where you clearly see that's where we are lacking. I mean, up front we can clearly see we had good chances. It was just unfortunate we didn't end up putting the ball at the back of the net. At best, this game's supposed to have finished a draw, and clearly our defense is not actually helping us to actually get those few points in a game, or in a league where we would exactly need to survive and actually go and actually play the next game, because those are the kind of games where we need to know that either we draw and we say, okay, we didn't actually deserve to actually win or draw, but we do end up actually getting a result at the end of the game, whether it's a win or it's a draw. That's the type of games that we need to win in order for us to actually have a chance at qualifying for Champions League football next season. Alright guys, let me know down below what are your thoughts on this game. How do you see this game going? Is there anything else you would have liked to add going into this game? I didn't think that we would actually lose this game. I don't know, did I actually jinx it to say that we should be actually winning? Because I actually thought we would. Spurs, on their part, they were very lucky to actually score 2 goals. Those 2 goals were luck. The first goal was a deflection. The second goal also, it hits the post. Richarlison comes running into the box and then ends up slotting it in an open net and making a 2-1 on the night in the last dying minutes of the game. So it was unfortunate that we lost, but obviously the main factors for this game is not to actually win. The main features of a game is to actually analyze and see our tactics, to see who actually is one of the players that we could be looking at to actually help us out next season, and who will be starters, who will be coming off the bench. That's the type of things we need to start analyzing, and I think that's the main purpose of these friendlies, for us to gel with one another and actually get to use each other for the next season. I was actually quite surprised the way Gallagher was also playing. It felt heartbreaking to see him play against us. The way he was playing, you can understand in a way that Gallagher is that type of player where he's hungry. He's just naturally hungry, and he's a pest to play against. But it's just unfortunate. I mean, it feels so weird playing against Gallagher, knowing he was one of us, and now for him to be part of Spurs' team and Spurs' side, it does put a knife through the hearts, and now it gives you mixed feelings about the player. Do you actually love him? Do you actually hate him now? Seeing that he actually is going to Spurs, and him actually doing the tackles and actually roughing us up. So let me know down below what are your thoughts on Gallagher as well. How do you see the player now? Has your thoughts changed? The fact now that he's starting to play with Spurs, and we know that we're going to start seeing more of him going into the league and going into the other competitions like likes of the FA Cup, the Carabao. What are your thoughts on the player? The more I see Gallagher, the more likely I am to start actually hating him, just for the fact that he's actually a Spurs player right now. What are your thoughts? Do you guys agree? Let me know down below. You guys seeing that we're 2 games in. What are your thoughts? Who would you like to actually see starting? Who would you like to see a bit more of before we get into the next season? Who would you actually like to see in order to know more or less where they lie? Who would you actually want to actually start for the Premier League games? Is there anyone particularly you keeping an eye on to see how is he doing? Looking at in terms of does he deserve to play and start, or does he deserve to be on the bench? Let me know down below what are your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Gittins' performance? What are your thoughts on João Pedro? What are your thoughts on our defense and our midfield? Where do you see us actually lacking? And what would you like to actually change to this team? Let me know down below what are your thoughts. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for another video, and peace.